Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the second part of how to read in Arabic. In this video, we're going to learn how to read in the beginner level. In the previous video, we learned that as a novice, I need to recognize the sounds. I need to visually capture the shape of the sounds and know exactly which one is deep and which one is soft. And of course, we learned this. You can check the playlist and then you can see part 1 of how to read in Arabic. The beginner level strategy is quite different. We have to transition from reading sounds to reading the entire word and then blending the sounds. I'll show you how this works. So the beginner level, here we said we start with one word. Beginner level, we start with 2-word reading. And the 2-word reading strategy, I can show you how it works over here. We'll keep the exact same page for our novice reading. That way we can see the difference between reading at a novice level and reading at a beginner level. Novice level, like you said, I said earlier, sounds, short cases, long vowels. Beginner level, over here on the same page, so I can see I have to apply the 2-word reading strategy. So over here, I'll just go on and I'll write beginning reading tips. So when I do the beginning reading, I have to master the novice part, which is reading syllables. And I have to apply the syllable part over here. And I can go, let me just highlight first so I can show you how it works. I have here the word hujra. I learned how to say hujra. And I have to say hujrat الجلوس. حجرة الجلوس. حجرة الجلوس. حجرة الجلوس. So I learned how to go with حجرة. In the beginning level, you'll be introduced to grammar. Of course, even the novice learners will be introduced to grammar. But the grammar part will help you understand why you're blending the sounds. So I'm going to zoom in and you can see the word. We said that we need to learn where the word starts. So we have to read it over here, ho, ho. And then we have hujrat. It ends at the T. When you start the new word, you have to apply grammar in this part. Over here, you have alif lam, which is the definite article. Usually the definite article comes as al with letters that do not take shadda. So you go like hujrat al-julus. Hujrat al-julus. And I'm pausing at the end of each one. When I do hujrat, the grammar over here is idafa. Idafa. And idafa usually goes with dhamma at the end. Hujratul julusi. And then you have kasra. So the proper case ending has to have dhamma and it has to have kasra. But because I'm reading fast, I need to pause at the end of each word. But I also have to learn how to blend the sounds. Oops, sorry. Multitasking. Okay, so I need to learn how to blend the two sounds. So I go like hujratul julusi. Hujratul julusi. So I need to say the dhamma over here and I need to blend the sound. And this is how I'm reading it. Imagine this is a whole new script that I'm gonna write. So I'm just gonna show you how I'm doing. Ra ratul, ratul. So basically I'm reading these three letters. Hujratul. So what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of the first alif, it's silent. And then I pronounce the lam. Only with words that have alif lam and the lam is sound, I could blend the last letter of the first word with the second letter of the second word. And I go hujratul julusi. If I decide to put sukun at the end, what I do is I go hujrat. This is when I'm reading with the sukun, hujrat al-julus. When I end the word with sukun, I have to pronounce the alif lam. Over here, I can go hujrat al-julus because I'm pausing. If I want to put the case ending, then I blend over here. And as you can see, I have to say only three letters in both cases. And I have to go hujratul julusi, hujratul julusi, hujratul julusi. And over here I go hujrat and I pause. Remember when I said we have to know when to stop? That's where I have to stop. So I stop over here and I start this one. And I go hujrat al-julus. Over here, I'm not stopping. Hujratul julusi. It comes as one set or one syllable. Over here, I am pausing. And I'm saying hujrat al-julus. So I'm going t al. Over here, I'm going ratal. It's like I'm saying ratel, rat, ratel. Here we go. It's like rattle. Hujratul julus. Hujratul julus. Oh, sorry. I have to do the dhamma. My bad. Hujratul julusi. Ratul. So I have to go ra-tul. My bad. Yes, I have to indicate the dhamma like I said over here. Hujratul julusi. And this grammar is called idafa, annexation. Idafa. And the idafa helps you learn how to read using two words only, and we call this grammar idafa. Okay, let me just make sure I do separate between all of this. That way I don't get confused when I go back to my notes. And the lesson is, or the grammar lesson is idafa. You might find idafa like this or idafa like that. But in Arabic, it's idafa. It means addition or annexation. The idafa helps you learn how to read using two words. So the strategy you have to do is 2-word reading. And I will show you how I'm applying the 2-word reading. Look at this text, and it has Hujratul Julus. And I will read slowly, and you can see the 2-word reading strategy. This is better. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to read at a normal pace for beginner levels. That way we can practice how to read using the 2-word reading strategy. We looked at hujra, we know this by now, which is room, and I will just use a pencil since my highlighter is smudging the script. So I will go with hujratul julusi, and I will start from right to left. Hujratul julusi, and this is one block that I have to read at once. Hujratul julusi, and I have dhamma at the end, and it tells me that I have to skip the alif and go straight to the lam. Over here. See if this is closer. It's a bit smudged. Sorry about that. But that's a natural learning. Okay, so hujratul julusi fi bayti. So over here I have two words. I need to read them together. Fi bayti Abdul Aziz. The living room at Abdul Aziz's house. So over here I have also two examples of idafa, which is annexation or addition. This is the living room or sitting room because julus is sitting. So I do living room, fi at house, and Abdul Aziz. Abdul Aziz. So over here when I say fi bayti, in the house of, over here, this is idafa. I'm adding addition. It's like possession. You're saying Abdul Aziz's house. At Abdul Aziz's house. So you're going like this. Let me get a colored pen so I can show you how you're doing this. So you're going fi bayti, in the house of, or apostrophe s, fi bayti Abdul Azizi. Fi bayti Abdul Azizi. And here I move on to the second sentence and I say fil hujrati, in the room, fil hujrati. I have to know when to stop, even when I don't have a comma. In the room, so over here it says in the hujra, room, television. Television. So I'll just highlight over here. So I go television, which is TV. Fil hujrati, in the room, what? TV. So when you're reading like this, you're telling me that TV is an object. So I'm also reading and paying attention to grammar, and the grammar helps me understand how I can read. And I'm applying the two-word reading. Two words, I have only one left, so I'm just going to read it at its own. So here, fil hujrati television. Fil hujrati television. And I'm also applying the silencing of alif, and I'm going fil hujra. Fil hujra. Fil hujrati television. When I say fil hujra, and I don't pronounce the ta marbuta, it's just because I'm reading fast. If I'm putting the case ending, I have to put kasra. Why I have to put kasra? Because over here, this is a whole different lesson. This is a preposition of place, and you can also put these notes. Preposition of place. As you are reading, you are also reviewing your grammar, and you're going like preposition of place. I like to write with thick pencils, but if it's bothering people who are OCD like me sometimes, I can sharpen it. Okay, so here, maybe I have sharpened. I'll use my son's. You can see now the colors. Okay, now we move on to the next one. And I say التلفزيون even if I don't have the fatha, I know I need to read a T because I have shadda over here. When I have shadda, I also remind myself of this rule that the lam is silent, and I have to go atti, التلفزيون, the TV, التلفزيون, which is the subject of the sentence. So it has dhamma at the end. The TV. قريب. قريب. You can pause here. But the proper case ending is قريب. Close. قريب. And over here, I also remember that TV is masculine. So close is an adjective and it has to be masculine as well. So I'm also reviewing grammar as I read. So look at this again. Just in one sentence, I'll zoom out. And literally you don't have to perfect your reading or writing. You just have to start. And then I'm sure you will see or observe the progress. So في الحجرة, في الحجرة. Over here, here's one lesson. I'll put it over here on a separate flashcard so I remember the grammar lessons as I read. And my grammar lessons to review are حرف الجر, حرف الجر, which is the letter, the prepositions of place. Prepositions of place because they give me kasra at the end of the noun. So that's the first grammar lesson. The second grammar lesson is object of the sentence. And then في الحجرة what? TV. And then I have to learn objects. And then I have to learn the subject of the sentence. And then, of course, I'm reviewing definite and indefinite articles. All in one reading practice. In order for you to read, you need to cover these lessons. That way, when you're reading smoothly and you're not being confused. The fifth one is feminine and masculine. And of course, we have adjectives. So here, object, مفعول به, and sometimes there is, no dots over here. Subject is الفاعل. Definite هي ألف لام. Feminine مؤنث and مذكر. Then you have adjectives, صفات. And you can take notes of the grammar lessons you need to review. As I go read again, I hear من النافذة, two-word reading. التلفزيون قريب. The TV is close. This is one reading. The TV is close. التلفزيون قريب من النافذة. And over here it has to be من النافذة. And I'm skipping the alif lam and I'm going من النافذة, close to the window. Now I read again and I say في الحجرة تلفزيون. التلفزيون قريب من النافذة. For beginner levels, make sure you put your dates, the objective and the lesson, and write down the sentences you're reading and practice. Keep your checklist. We will read this without highlighting so you can see which parts you're able to recognize and you can also practice. Or maybe if you're interested, we can just have separate reading practice videos without highlighting and then you can just read along. Let me know in the comment section, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer that I read and highlight the text with the translation? Or do you prefer that I give you a blank paper like this and I read along? So let me know which learning suits you best based on your exposure to the Arabic text. Okay, so here, what I was trying to tell you is that you need to write down what you are reading, because we still have to go back to being novice learners. I have to write and read. So I need to say حجرت. I'll use a different pen so I can write more smoothly, because this one is calligraphy. It's fine, but it just gives me that, I don't know, it's just my writing. Okay, so I'll move on and I'll go over here. There we go. I need to read what I write, so I go حجرة الجلوس. حجرة الجلوس. And I keep going. في بيت عبد العزيز. I'll zoom out. في بيت عبد العزيز. When I write, I have to write steady. Do not zigzag at all. Write as steady as possible. And then make sure you are reading your own handwriting. Read along. You can see that and hear me read as I write. حجرة. Any activity I do, even vocalization, تشكيل, I have to read along. حجرة الجلوس في بيت عبد العزيز. And عبد العزيز is a name. That's my first sentence. Then I write down my second sentence, الجملة الثانية, which is في الحجرة في الحجرة في الحجرة. Pay attention to the word boundaries. How much space? Oops, sorry. How much space I'm leaving between the words. At least you see this highlighter. It has perfect sizing. So when I do this over here, it has to be at least like a square, tiny square between the two words, and you can see that. So you know where the words end and where the next one begins. في حجرتي في الحجرة تلفزيون. And I'm going steady. تلفزيون. And then نقطة, period. التلفزيون. التلفزيون. No, I can put the short cases and the ending. قريب. And do not squeeze your words. Just go back to the line. قريب من النافذة. There you go. And I go like this. في الحجرة. What? تلفزيون. What is in the room or the living room? تلفزيون. التلفزيون قريب. And I'm putting the case ending. من النافذة. Now that I have my two sentences, am I able to read them? I copied, I explained, I translated, I reviewed my grammar. Am I able to read? Yes or no? You will have to go over these two sentences multiple times until you are able to read. So now I'm going to read them and you can rewrite. I personally prefer to rewrite the sentences as I read them so I can kind of master two learning strategies, which is writing and reading together. So I'll read and then you can read along. حجرة الجلوس في بيت عبد العزيز. Don't forget the two-word reading. حجرة الجلوس في بيت عبد العزيز. في الحجرة تلفزيون. التلفزيون قريب من النافذة. التلفزيون قريب من النافذة. So now that we have our second level reading strategy, we have, where is my card? There it is. We did the two-word reading technique. I have to review my grammar, review my Arabic grammar, learn word boundaries, where the word starts and where it begins, and of course put تشكيل or حركات, which is vocalization. تشكيل or حركات. And then the last strategy, write and read along. When you write and read along, when you write and read along, it helps you articulate the sounds. And remember that the word has to have a good amount of space between each, like the words have to have a good amount of space between each other. And then if you have a dot or a period, just leave more space after that. So I hope this helped, and then just practice. Practice multiple times. I will ask multiple times, literally. Then you can read the text without short cases. So like I asked you earlier, if you're interested in reading texts the same way I just did, we can have a whole session designated for reading practice. Just let me know in the comment section, inshallah, and then we can just schedule one. So I hope this helped, and do not forget to review your novice and beginning learner checklist. That way you can remember which ones you are at, and then which strategy you can apply so you can avoid those learning anxiety moments and also any type of frustration. Take your time, move slowly, and pick up your own pace. So, assalamu alaikum, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos.